Almost 30 years later, the original Final Fantasy VII is still one of the most beloved video games of all time. People still very frequently play the original game, and not just people returning to the game for the millionth time, not just speedrunners, but there are still plenty of people frequently visiting this game for the first time ever. This is especially true with the release of the Final Fantasy VII Re-Trilogy, as the Re-Trilogy often seems like it is begging you to go back and take a look at the source material. On top of which, just recently Square Enix announced that the OG has hit a brand new sales milestone. The game has now sold 15.5 million units. Now previously, they had announced that the game was at 15.1 million units back in June of 2025. This means that they have sold over 400,000 units in the past few months. So when Square Enix announced that they wanted to go back and update the 2013 Steam version of Final Fantasy VII, it made sense. It's a port that's rough around the edges, and practically speaking, hard requires you install mods just to get some basic quality of life updates. The update has finally rolled out, and it has unfortunately been met with an extraordinary amount of backlash, with many people saying that in most ways it is a downgrade from the 2013 version, with the Steam reviews for FF7 OG now falling into the mostly negative territory. So this all begs the question, what exactly did Square Enix do to mess up this badly? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are so close to our goal of 110,000 subscribers, I can almost taste it. So if you enjoy the videos, please go ahead and help push us over. This new version was released with the best of intentions. They were bringing over the battle enhancements from the console versions of the game, which give the player a cheat mode to max HP, MP, and limit gauges. You'd be able to turn off random encounters, as well as a brand new autosave feature, which I think is a very welcome addition, as well as a 3x battle speed multiplier. All of this sounds really good. So what's so bad about this brand new version of Final Fantasy VII? Well, for starters, when the game first launched, they forgot to actually include the game. And I mean this literally, like you would download it and it would just be an empty folder. And it remained that way for the first hour or two. So with the launch, things are already getting off to a pretty rocky start. However, they fixed this issue, but then there's the issue of the broken battle speed. See, the original PC port of the game ran at 15 frames per second during battles, and Square Enix wanted to bump this up to 30 frames per second for the new version. However, like many of the games at this time, the frame rate is tied to the game's logic, thereby drastically increasing the speed of fights and also causing issues with desyncing audio. Now thankfully, this was also patched within the same day, so at the very least, the game functions now, right? However, it still has a lot of issues, and the biggest issue of them all, the bane of my existence, an issue that Square Enix has not done once, twice, 3 times, or even 4 times. They have done this so many times with ports of their older games, and every single time people tell them to stop doing this, and then they keep doing it. They have applied a smoothing filter to the entire game, including the cursor. Bruh, what did the cursor do to deserve the smoothing filter? For the pre-rendered backgrounds, this makes them look horrendously blurry, and unfortunately has degraded the quality of these timeless artworks even further. I don't know who in this company or with their outsourcing partners believes that people want smoothing filters on these games or trying to smooth out pixel art, but we don't like the smooth, Square. We don't like the smooth. And of course, there is no way to turn this off. And also, there is currently no way to mod this version of the game. So unfortunately, if you're someone who just recently bought FF7, then you just have to deal with this. Final Fantasy VII was built to work on a 4:3 display. However, the 2013 version did at least give players the option to stretch the image to 16:9 if they wanted to. Listen, I I know some people hate the idea of stretching a 4:3 image into 16:9. However, at least the option was there for you to be able to decide if you wanted to do that or not. Unfortunately, in this brand new version, for whatever reason, they decided to remove the option and force you to play in a 4:3 aspect ratio. You might have heard Square Enix say that save files from the 2013 version won't be compatible with this new version. That's actually not even true. The save files are completely compatible, but here's the thing. If you load the game up, then obviously it won't read your save files. However, all you have to do is just move the save files to a new folder. Guys, the entire reason that save files supposedly aren't compatible with this new version is simply because they changed the folder location. So why would you tell people that it's not compatible? It would have taken less than an hour for a programmer to make a simple script that just copied the files over to the new location. Or you could have at least told users, hey, we changed the folder. In order to get your save files working with the new version, you'll have to copy and paste them. All of these things are not big deals, like at all. So it begs the question why they chose to lie about this rather than just being honest, especially when the truth wasn't even that bad in the first place. I am so baffled by this. The original Steam version also only had English localization. However, they've decided to include the French, German, Spanish, and Japanese versions of the game. That's especially awesome for me as someone who is learning Japanese and would love to do a run of FF7 in Japanese. However, due to the engineering of the original game, they had to include duplicate files in order to accommodate all of the localization options. This means that the game went from being around 1.5 gigabytes to around 3.4 gigabytes. While 3.5 gigabytes isn't a huge deal, it's insane that this more than doubled the size of the game. Of course, you may be thinking, that's fine, I will continue to use the 2013 version. And that's fine if you've already purchased the game previously. You see, only legacy users get access to the 2013 version, which means that if you haven't bought Final Fantasy VII yet on Steam, you cannot access this version, which means you are stuck with this inferior port. So if you ever wanted to give Final Fantasy VII modding a try, as there are so many fantastic mods for this game, you can truly customize it in any way that you want and create your own definitive Final Fantasy VII experience. It's amazing. Unfortunately, that experience is now gatekept only to the people who have previously bought the game, and anyone new, anyone who wants to check out Final Fantasy VII on PC, try to play it for the first time, and use many of the fantastic features that these mods have available for you, you will not be able to do that. I don't think anyone would care so much if it included the original version and this new updated version, and you could just switch over to the old version and play with mods on there. But the fact that new people purchasing the game are going to be locked out forever makes this extraordinarily unfortunate. Now, what is the right solution for Square Enix to do? I think it's actually pretty straightforward. Companies have hired and commissioned fan modders in order to officially work on their projects. This is something that CD Projekt Red did with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for its next-gen update, working numerous community mods into the official build of the game, and allowing these modders to get a payout and officially be part of the game that they love so much. This makes things extraordinarily convenient for the company, as you already have a proven solution that you know for a fact fans love, something that you don't even have to waste any dev time on, and you can turn out an improved product fairly immediately. I say this because my good friend Sudamods over on Twitter posted, quote, "You know what? I'm taking our shot in the dark here. Square Enix, hire us. I'm not joking. Our contact info is in our bio. We have programmers, musicians, 3D artists, 2D artists, upscale engineers, and we can keep your older games alive. People trust us. Let us help you." Sudamods is known for a plethora of high-quality mods for FF7, 8, and 9, including the Echo S mod, which adds voice acting to the entire game. What him and his team have managed to accomplish is absolutely extraordinary. Instead, Square Enix is unfortunately paying these outsourcing companies to do a horrendous job and is giving them worse results. And it's not even just the work that's been done on this game, it's been a lot of their older PS1 game remasters. You have people here who are ultra talented and would be more than capable of making the type of remastered and updated ports that you want for your PlayStation 1 games. I think that's a much better move, Square, than what you've been doing with these updated ports and PS1 remasters, which unfortunately are just never working the way people want them to work and are oftentimes entirely unaligned with fan interest. Hopefully something will come of this soon, or at the very least, the 2013 version will be made available for everyone who purchases the game right now. Of course, you can always just mod Final Fantasy VII Remake back into the OG. Be sure to check out my video, modding Final Fantasy VII Remake back into the original game, by clicking the thumbnail on screen now.